Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Vinod from GrowWealth. Today is the 31st of July 2022, and it's the Sunday. We look at the stock market analysis of how it has done the last week, and also quite a few watch list names to consider going forward. And hopefully, you'll use this as a learning opportunity to see how I analyze some of the stocks, the chart patterns, and the profit points, the support and resistance levels, because they're all necessary when you kind of put your analysis to action and think about the risk and reward strategies. You need to have your own trading plan, of course. Whatever I discussed now is not the buy or sell recommendations. I do have a paid membership at GrowWealth. If you want to look at a bit more about the exclusive membership offer, please look at the blog post www.buymeacoffee.com/GrowWealth and check out on some of the subscriptions and memberships as well. But these are not buy or sell recommendations. These are sharing my analysis and technical analysis and stock market analysis for your use. It's to be used as a learning experience. Without further ado, let's look at the stock market. I'll start with the NASDAQ chart here. This is the daily chart, and this looks pretty similar to the S&P 500, which you will see in just a second. The NASDAQ reclaimed its 50-day EMA, then came and retested, found support at 21-day EMA, which is quite important prior level to note, and then resumed its uptrend after having a bullish kicker symbol on 27th of July with higher than average volume. There's been 3 consecutive days of high volume bullish price action, and that is really good, which we haven't seen in many months now, this level of consistency. The 200-day NASDAQ is around $14,000 mark, and the 50-week EMA is just under the $14,000 mark, and they are likely to act as potential resistance. So if you're buying, if you're getting into the market, investing, if you've been waiting on the sideline and coming into the market now, these price levels are something to keep in watch, because they can act as a resistance. The broader view is that in the longer term, we are still in the stage 4 downtrend. Intermediate short term looks positive, but it doesn't mean that everything is all clear. You still need to be having really tight risk strategies and keep a lookout for what happens in the broader scheme of things, because this could be a bear market rally, which means when it breaks, it could retest the previous low and then break that down further as well. Bottoming is a process. If you look at the weekly, again, this is S&P 500. It gave a bottom here. It's been going down for a few months now. It is not uncommon in a long bear market to have a few bear market rallies as well. So I wouldn't be too enthusiastic and jumping with 2 feet and going all in on the market now because of that reason. However, there are some good setups as well. So be stock selective, be sector selective, and have good trading strategies to invest. And finally, in terms of the indices, we look at the Russell 2000. This is the ETF IWM, similar stuff. Went above 50, came and retested the 50-day EMA, and then resumed its uptrend. The volume is not as strong as the NASDAQ volume was. Nonetheless, the price action seems to be similar. And similar to the others, the 50-week EMA is about 10% above the current price, and that is to be noted. All right, so we got quite a few stocks today. Let's have a quick look at them. And when you get some time, have a look at the charts for the selected stocks for further detailed deep dive that you would have to do. Right, ADM. It had its nice uptrend beginning of the year, and then since April onwards pulled back, came and retested this horizontal line, which is the previous kind of resistant point. And now it reclaimed the 50-day, 200-day, and the short-term moving average. Strong volume close coming in. So momentum is turning back into this name. ADTN, it's giving us a flag pattern, a pole here, and the flag tight consolidation over the last 2 weeks. There's some distribution volume, but generally speaking, good volume accumulation, strong tight consolidation. When it break out of that consolidation point, further upside is likely. Bumble, BMBL, broke out of this horizontal resistance point and above the 200-day moving average, and the moving averages are all pointing in the right direction. The 50 hasn't crossed above the 200 yet, and that is just a matter of time before it happens, and that will be the golden cross. So it's trying to get into a stage 2 uptrend currently. CBNK is more clearer on the weekly chart. After a huge move of nearly 180%, 190% move, it had about 25% pullback, and now when the moving average is confluenced here, it is now using that as a support and bouncing off that on strong volume and momentum as well, as shown by the MACD. So the price is above the 200-day moving average, and that's likely to act as a support, and we would like to see that act as a support because that would show further strength in this name. And the regional banks, along with the solar sector, the oil and gas is also getting some buyers coming in now, utilities and trucking industry are all the sectors that I'm noticing in my stock screen as the primary kind of good setups as well. Biotech is not too far behind that either. GTLS, it has reclaimed this horizontal line, previous resistance level at $186 mark, and it is on its way to the all-time high price of 206. Strong volume clues coming in the last few days, which is quite encouraging. Humana, that's the healthcare, it broke out of the previous all-time high price, and it's just consolidating there for the last few weeks. As long as this acts as a support and the price stays above that and pushes up, that is a strong bullish sign. LNG, oil and gas midstream. So this is likely to benefit from the unfortunate situation of the war and the Russia-Europe gas battle, right? So it is now sitting right at the all-time high price, or literally a few cents below it. So if it breaks up and holds the $150 mark as support, that'll be a strong setup to go forward. Monster Beverage, similar to LNG, it is also sitting very close to the all-time high price. A nice consolidation and pullback, and using the 50-day EMA as support along the way. And here it used the 21-day EMA as support. Good strong volume accumulation clues also coming in. So when the market is just trying to recover from the 50-day EMA, these stocks that I've just shown, the couple of them are breaking out into the all-time high price, and that shows the strong relative strength. And these are the names that will do really well when the market gets into the next bull run. Microsoft. So it had a strong move after the earnings, along with some of the other mega caps like Amazon and Google. And it has now reclaimed the 50 and on its way to the 200-day moving average. On the weekly, it is just sitting right at the 50-week moving average point. And you can see the volume is above average volume on the last week, and the momentum has also turned positive on the weekly. ODFL, another tracking stock. On the weekly, it is much more clearer. It is forming the right side of the base here and now reclaim the 50-week moving average, and strong volume coming in for the last couple of weeks. And on the daily, it is above the 200-day moving average. Ryan, R-Y-A-N. Again, on the weekly, it shows a clear setup here. Post-IPO, strong bullish run, and then IPO due diligence phase, which did not correct too much compared to what happened in the market over the last year. So this just went sideways, and now it's breaking out of that consolidation phase. Real strong setup. PII Polaris, similar stuff again. After many months of living beneath the 50-week moving average, it has now reclaimed that, and on strong volume used the 21-week moving average as a support, and pushing up well above into the open area, which is also about the 200-day moving average, right? So it's now retested that and found support at 21-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, and more upside is likely, as it seems to be kind of forming this cup shape setup. SCI, let's see what it shows on the weekly. So it seems to be giving us a VCP pattern, volume the price contraction here, and volume is a little bit low when it went down, and then the volume is increasing when it broke out into the all-time high price right there. So bullish setup. You can see this level has been tested once, twice, and thrice, and then it broke out just in the last few days into the new territory. Occidental Petroleum, or XY, it's kind of going sideways, allowing the moving averages to confluence here, and now the moving averages are pointing in the right direction, which is 8 about 21 about 50, and pointing upwards as well. Price is now trying to resume its uptrend, and that's why I've added this to our watch list here. And on the weekly, it's much more clear. Had a strong up move, expected kind of pull back to the 21-week moving average, and now resuming its uptrend. NOC, Northrop Grumman. So this stock has been testing my patience for a while because this has been going sideways for quite some time. I tested a couple of times and then shaken out when it kind of closed below the 50-day EMA a couple of times. Now, though, with huge volume close coming in and momentum turning positive, the last couple of days has been a strong bullish candle here. And this seems slightly bit different in a positive way of how it has acted over the last few months now. So I wouldn't be surprised if the further uptrend continues and breaks above the all-time high price at $492 mark. New Corporation, this is the steel industry, and that is also coming into materials and steel. Some of the stocks in them are showing some strong strength here. On the daily, you can see it broke out of the horizontal pivot point, which also coincided with the 200-day moving average, and now it is about those moving averages, and using the 250 EMA as support, 200 SMA and 50 EMA as support, prices moving further up and on strong volume close, which is bullish price action. BRC, it is trying to break out of the 200, hasn't managed to do that yet, but using the shorter term moving average as support, a nice consolidation with a strong volume close coming in on Friday. And I feel encouraged that if it breaks out of the 47.96 or $48 mark, it's likely to retest and possibly reclaim the 200-day moving average as well. SEDG. So this is a solar stock, like Solar Edge. Its earnings are coming in the next couple of days, but it had a huge gap up a couple of times as a sympathy play following the ENPH strong earnings, which is also a solar stock. So this acted in sympathy towards it. So this is looking really strong on the weekly. It went sideways, strong volume close, and waiting for further upside to come, it seems. And all-time high price is not too far from here. So real strong price action on the solar industries. Another solar stock here, ARRY, similar to Sedge. There's a gap up, broke out of the 200-day moving average, and had a follow-through price action with strong volume as well. VRTX. So this stock is kind of consolidating. Now testing is 50 EMA here on the daily. It set up a cup and a handle here, and I was expecting that it will break out of that into the all-time high, which hasn't happened yet, but it is now still not broken. It is sitting at the 50-day EMA, and it'll be interesting to see whether the 10-week or the 8-week EMA holds as support, which corresponds roughly to the 50-day EMA. And if that holds as support and resumes its uptrend, that'll be interesting, and then further all-time high prices will be in its target. The next one is BLDR. Just reclaimed the 200-day moving average, higher volume coming in, and it consolidated, had a pinching action, price action between the 200 and the T line, and now it kind of reclaimed the 200-day moving average. On the weekly, it's above the all the moving averages, so that could act as a support as well. HTLD, you can see on the weekly, it had been living below the 50-week moving average. Now it reclaimed that and on strong volume close as well. And this consolidation zone has resulted in price expansion. So further momentum burst is likely to happen on the weekly side. So more weeks of positive price action likely. Tesla, along with the solar names, Tesla, obviously the EV manufacturer, is also finding some buyers coming in back into this name, and it has reclaimed the 50-week moving average quite strongly last week. And on the daily, it's sitting just beneath the 200-day moving average, but good strong volume close coming in for the last couple of weeks. SHLS, Shoals Technologies, again another solar name, reclaimed the 200-day moving average with a huge gap up on price for volume action as well. And now it's also breaking out of this horizontal pivot point at $23 mark, which was set a few months earlier in April. So reasonably new IPO, and is now trying to break out of the stage 1, possibly trying to go into the stage 2 uptrend. UPS on the weekly, it reclaimed the 50-week moving average. Momentum coming back into this name. Price above the shorter term moving average on the daily. Strong price volume action, and just below the 200. And as you can see, many stocks are of similar setup, just below 200, using the short-term moving average as support and trying to reclaim the 200, except for some, which is at all-time high price. They are the more stronger names that you would want to have as at the top of your priority list. UBSI. So this is a regional bank. Let's go to the weekly. It's been consolidating for what, nearly 2 years now, year and a half. And now when the moving averages have all confluenced, the strong price action coming in with the increasing interest rate, I think the regional banks are likely to benefit, right? It's used the 200-week moving average at 34.35 as support, and now bouncing off of that nicely. EDBL, and this had an episodic pivot type move from product gap up, and now is currently about the 21-day moving average, which it has never been about that moving average in the life of the public traded life the last couple of months, right? So it seems post IPO crash is coming to an end, and some buyers coming in. So a strong volume on buying days is coming up. So this is possibly, it's a very thinly traded stocks, and it's almost a penny stock. So that is to be noted. DEC, footwear and accessories, just gapped up after its earnings, I believe, and reclaims the 200-day moving average. If it consolidates and holds that as a support, further upside is likely. EVH, it's flirting with the all-time high price of 34.60. I think it broke out of that a couple of times, but couldn't close above that. So if it could break above that and close and holds that as a support, that'll be really encouraging. So stocks close to or at all-time high price are the ones showing strong relative strength in this current market. ENPH, we spoke about this when we were talking about Sedge. So this is another solar name which had its earning and gap up, and it's continuing with the follow-on kind of volume buying, high volume buys as well, holding that gap up quite strongly. And it's currently at all-time high price. CPB, this is packaged food, Campbell's soup. So it's been consolidating, but volume close has come in now and using the 21-week moving average as support and trying to kind of see if it can break out of that consolidation zone, which has been in for good some months now. With the strong inflation, Costco seems to be coming back into favor now. And thereby the price action also moved, reclaimed all of the short-term moving average, now sitting nicely above the 8, 21, and 50-week moving average. The momentum have also turned positive, as you can see there. And on the daily, it broke out of the 200-day resistance, and now it is finding that as acting as a support now, which is a really positive bullish action. Chevron CVX gap up above the 50-day moving average when it pulled back, found support at the 200. Now strong volume buy coming in and had a gap up above the 50, which shows that momentum is coming back into this name. Crodo, this has been really strong the last week. Extremely bullish price, bullish volume, day after day after day, the whole of the 5 days, the last trading week. And it has gained about 40% in 1 week, 42% in 1 week, as you can see here. This is the pivot point at $13.92. The stock currently is at $16.05. It's a little bit extended for my liking, but I would like to see if it can gently pull back closer to that kind of breakout level to see if it can give a good risk reward entry point for me. But this stock is showing all the indications of potential new market leader. So something to watch closely. Funko, nice cup formation here and a handle, and it's breaking out of that handle right there with strong volume coming in at the point of breakout on the handle. So it's had a huge move in 2020 and 2021, and then for the last year and a bit went sideways, formed a cup and handle, and now it's trying to break out of that. So strong bullish price action there. BWXT, on the weekly, it's reclaimed the 200-week moving average, found support at the 50-week moving average. So it kind of nicely tight consolidation about this kind of moving average and breaking out into about those kind of resistance points. Aerospace defense is also having some buyers coming in. Eli Lilly, staying with the weekly candle, weekly chart here. The horizontal line was the previous all-time high that it broke out of, close about that. But ever since it did it a month and a half ago, it's been going sideways. So it couldn't get more buyers come in, possibly because of rotation into other names away from biotech. But it hasn't broken down yet. It is still staying about the 8 EMA on the weekly and also the $314 mark, the previous pivot point. So that is still bullish as long as that level holds. MDU broke out about the 50-week moving average on high volume, and on the daily it also reclaimed the 200-day moving average. So people say nothing good happens below 200-day moving average. So the stock that has reclaimed to the upside of the 200-day moving average certainly needs to be in the watch list. McDonald's. So this is close to its all-time high price, less than $10 to all-time high price, using the 21-week moving average as support. Strong volume buyers coming in last week, and price broke out of this pivot point and on its way to the all-time high price. AYLA. So this is a low dollar stock, $1.7. The reason I've added it here is to show the strong volume clue, and there's this huge gap up of nearly 100%. Then met with some profit taking, came and retested the 8 EMA and the 21 EMA, but again another gap up about the 50-day moving average. Met with another profit taking here, but now the price is sitting just above the 50-day moving average. On the hourly, you can see there's a nice tight price action there. So it's likely that more upside is to come on this name. It's a bit volatile, small dollar stock, but huge volume clues showing that something significant positively is happening on this stock. First Solar, another solar name, similar to Sedge and Enphase, gap up, huge volume, about the 200-day moving average, and holding that price after the gap up as well. It's not as close to the all-time high price as the Enphase was or the Sedge is, but it is showing some good sympathy play along with the sector, and I think it probably had a good earnings as well, so that it's kind of holding that one. CF Agriculture Inputs claimed the 50-day moving average and holding up nicely above that level. So positive as a result. HRL, another packaged food, so similar stuff. Consolidation about the 200, bubble action between the 200 and 50 EMAs. Now it broke out of that price action, and now this confluence of moving average is likely to act as a support going forward. And that is the last of the stock. All right, so hope it made some sense. The stocks I've selected, almost all of them show good relative strength. Many of them are at all-time high price. Some of them about 200-day moving averages as well, and showing some good recent trend price action, volume close as well to this time. So those were the learning points. Those were the indications why I've selected those stocks. There are many more as well, but these are the select 40 stocks also. Hope it made some sense. Happy learning and successful investing. I see you in our next week's stock market analysis. Bye-bye.